It's thinking about it. And we're live. Hello everybody. It's Sunday the 17th of May. Lockdown obviously in. It's not how we wanted to spend Sunday the 17th of May, in fairness. Although I have had a bit of peace today, which I wouldn't ordinarily have had. In an ideal world I would have spent today doing points, checking the car over, and then writing the report after having done the Larne sprint yesterday. A lot of other guys would have spent today out making sure the car was ready to go to Spam out next Saturday, but unfortunately that's the problems associated with COVID as it has happened. Just going to make sure we're still live here. Yes, we are. As I say, tonight I'm sure there'll be many drivers sitting at home watching Facebook, watching their phone, waiting for the dreaded email for the report, wanting to find out who was the fastest woman, which of the Chuckle brothers beat who this time. Was it David? Was it Steve? Who else? Was roundabout Rudy actually quicker than straight line Stranny for a change? Who knows? These are all the things we would have found out. Or the big question that everybody wants to know, and we're going to have to wait tomorrow night now to see the unveiling of this, is did Johnny Miller find his razor yet? So we would have known that yesterday. He'd have been Clarkin. We'll all have to tune into Johnny's quiz tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on the Larne Motor Club sprint page just to find out if he's found his razor yet. Something tells me I'm going to get a bit of abuse off Johnny tomorrow night, but I hope. Swings and roundabouts. He gives me plenty, I give him plenty. It's all part of the crack. Well, anyway, we're here tonight for another Pitlane lockdown Pitlane walk, which is unfortunately what we don't want to do. We'd rather be doing it live on Saturday, but these things happen. Our guest tonight, some contractual things behind it, as I told you. Jeremy and James and that weren't too impressed when his predecessor did interviews before, so as you can see, he's in a mask. There's a man that's been about the paddock for years. Oh, the coat's coming off. Oh, here. This is a man that's been about the paddock for years. He's a man as when you see when he unveils himself. And there he is. The man behind the gas mask. None other than a well-known competitor who I will get to introduce himself now.
Some say he has French wine running through his veins, and it is hot. Yeah, boy, how to speak French. All I know is it's Neil Dugan, and we're here to talk motorsport.
Hi, Neil.
Bonjour. Bonjour.
Bonjour, Neil. I don't remember much after that. My French wasn't great. Neither is my English, in fairness. So, all joke aside, firstly, how are you? All going well?
All very well. Great down here, just getting used to spending a lot of time at home, and it's been different. We're a different way going on, and good times.
Yeah, it's a mix, but we're stuck with it. There's nothing we can do. We just have to bear it. Though I had to laugh. I was sitting when I was thinking through doing this here earlier on. Some of the stories you hear, everybody in the paddock knows Neil, and everybody has. If you mention Neil Dugan's name, somebody has a great story. Or did you hear the time he did this, or did you hear about him when he went there? So I'm looking forward to this. Actually, I'm really looking forward to this interview, just so that I don't scare you or anything. The last two interviews we've done, we did Jared on Wednesday night, and we did John on Friday night. Both of those have had over 3,000 views. Combined over 3,000 views. They have reached over 6,000 people. So obviously people are watching these. It's getting about, so it's good. It's promoting the championship, which is what it's all about. So now, Neil, we can get you to do some promotion of yourself. So first of all,
hopefully you'll not take a nosedive after this one, David. But we'll see.
I don't think that'll happen. I don't think so. How do you do that? I'm getting some technical advice here. What do I do with this here? No, it doesn't work. No, it just adds people in, which we can't do.
Your screen.
I'm too bright apparently on the screen and I'm blinding everybody.
Oh, yeah, you're all right on my screen, so...
Right, no, listen, we're going to have to run with it because, as everybody knows, I can't work technology. That's famous. So, sorry about that slight interlude. Neil, start from the start. What car do you drive?
Well, this season I was going to be out in a rear-wheel drive 205 Peugeot, which, as you know, for the last 20 years. So, it's a nice car, 2.4 naturally aspirated Cosworth, originally built by Kenny Colbert for Eric O'Neill back in the 80s or thereabouts.
Okay.
I've been very lucky with that car and enjoy driving it. It's a lovely, beautifully balanced car. Sexy. You have a real smile on when you get out of doing a sprint or hill climb, and it's so enjoyable to drive, so easy to drive.
It's one of the famous Ken Colbert 205s then?
Yeah, it'd be one of the 8 or so that he built. So between him and Sidney Meek. So they're a nice package, well thought out, and a testament to the longevity of it. Like, that car's maybe 30 years old now and is still winning and still competing at the top of hill climbing sprints.
Yeah, it's I've seen it do some events. I've seen you doing some events in that car with some great finishes.
I've got some funny lines across the finish line too, from memory.
There's a great bit of footage, I love watching it, of you at Notts Corner 2 years ago, getting into the horseshoe on the front straight after start finish line. I think that's where it was. And you got her way up on 2 wheels, and I mean way up on 2 wheels.
I think there's a few photographs back there. I think there's a famous one at Kames, where there's a photograph of it and a series of them. It still came down in 2 wheels and didn't manage to take out the timing beam, so it was a successful run in my book, you know.
Brilliant. So tell me this, Nate, what got you involved in motorsport?
Oh, jeez. I sort of grew up in it, David. My father rallied in the 60s and up until about 72. A variety of cars, minis and Vivas, a few VX 490s and stuff. So that's where it sort of started. I had gone out with him testing. Tom Lawler and boys might know it. They used to do the mile on the Cumber bypass there, from the start of it to the 30-mile-an-hour zone signs timed, and different times we'd be out round the roads. I'd be sitting with a stopwatch, and one night in particular we were out about Klein's scrapyard near Killyneller, anybody knows it, and we hit this almighty bump in the road, and I was catapulted from the front seat into the back, and my father, being really concerned about it, says to me, "For goodness sake, I hope you didn't stop that watch." What he was concerned about, the stopwatch was still running. So he actually got me out of school one time, and my mother was teaching in the school, and he snuck me out of school, and I had to get down below the dashboard of the car to get out through the school gates. And we headed away down to Kirkison to drive a cart. It belonged to a boy, Mr. Woolsey. He'd be a relative of some of the boys in the TSCC club. And we went down to drive this cart round Kirkison. Both those occasions, I think I was 6 years old. So that's where it sort of started with me. Okay. And I haven't really much choice in the matter. From there, I suppose I got my driving licence. I joined the Institute of Advanced Motoring through a friend of mine who was a solicitor in Cumber at the time, Mervyn Bates. I did a few tabletop rallies and learned how to drive a car properly and sensibly on the road. And I took part in the ROSPA Safe Driver of the Year Award. And I won that in 1984. And I think that's probably the last time anybody said anything that was safe about my driving. But that was the first trophy I won. for something a wee bit different. You know, so I started off.
I take it you didn't learn through Rossborough how to drive in two wheels then?
No, that was a different education. That so I went from there and I bought a Mini, and I tried my hand at auto testing. And had great tuition from boys like Lee Lucas and Harold Hazard, and there had been a lot of Cumber people about. Robert Dixon would have been there for encouragement. Paul Nerney had been using Benny Dixon's garage out at Ballybun a few times, and buying bits for minis and stuff like that there through Kane of Cumber. I got involved with Big Leslie Munn, but a bit of mechanic in there, and that's probably when I first got to meet a legend in Northern Ireland motorsport, Tom Lawler.
Yeah.
And because I had the Mini, Tom says, I have a cylinder head to do that car of yours fair swell you wanted. So this Jan Speed cylinder head for the Mini, and I think I paid him £10 for it.
Right.
And it had two valves missing anyway. So I took the head anyway. I thought a tenner wasn't too bad for it. And I phoned John Oder at John Speed and told him the dilemma was in the two valves missing and what have you. And he says, I know that head, I know where it came from, the history of it. I'll send you two valves over free of charge. Okay. So I ended up getting the Mini up and running this head and did a few auto tests, but I wasn't terribly proficient at it, I think is the term to use. So I went from there and I bought a Mark II Escort Harrier to get me to working back.
Right.
And thought, well, this is a nice wee car. It had a Bill Quine head on it, Manx racing head on it, and I bought a set of twin 40s off Jimmy Heaslop.
Yeah, Jimmy.
Jimmy Heaslop, aye.
Yeah.
He'd got an Opel Lotus or something like that, their single seater. And I tried them on it, didn't have the fuel economy very good, but it was great for getting to work quickly.
You got an extra 10 minutes in bed, did you, every morning?
Oh, at least. So, we're into the Escort, and I joined the RS Owners Club just for a bit of finding out about Escorts and driving them and what have you. Met different boys in it that would John O'Neill especially, the photographer, who was who sort of encouraged me to go to a few track days. So went to a few track days and we tried that. David Duncan there then sort of got me into going to a sprint at Kirkeston. And that's where I've been for the last 30 years is doing sprints and hill climbs and a short rambling there, David, but that's how it started, and that's where it sort of has kept going. I used the Harrier and went to an RS Mexico with a 2-litre engine in it, and then the Peugeot. That's where we've been going.
Yeah. Yep. I remember you as well for a while with a wee Mini. A BMW Mini.
Yeah. That was 2003, 2005. I had to go at the Scottish Motor Racing Club Mini Cooper Challenge.
Right.
Fantastic event. I mean, it was hard expensive. I was over there 2 or 3 weekends, maybe in the month. But I was racing against great competitors. The guest drivers and competitors there. I was racing against the likes of John Cleland, Ian Forrest, Gordon Shedden, Rory Butcher, along with all the regular competitors there. I've still kept in contact with a couple of boys that helped me out, kept me going, the likes of Mike Connon, And Davy McLennan is still friendly after all these years, even though we might have traded a few panels along the way. It was more like a contact sport, like many touring cars than racing you'd see at Kirkuson.
We've actually come to Kirkuson a couple of times, and they are superb to watch. Superb. A full grid of them going down through Deckers. It's a close your eyes moment. You just wait. Did they make it? Did they make it? You know, it's like the good old Formula V's.
Yeah, I remember that Croft Racing Circuit in England, coming down through Tower Corner there, big long fast straight, and there was maybe 9 minis in a line, all touching bumpers, waiting for the first one to break. And it was mighty down into sunny in or sunny out. I can't remember that well now, but it was horrendous. You could feel the car behind pushing you, and you were pushing the one in front. And it was something different. Great experience, though.
Definitely.
Financially, no, financially too. Like, I nearly put my legs out there for a while for motorsport, but I wouldn't have missed it. It was a great experience. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, what was your first competition car then?
The first real competition car, purely for competition, was an RS Mexico I bought from a boy in the RS Owners Club, under the auspices that I wouldn't turn it into a competition car, that I would restore it. And I bought the shell off him and a load of boxes of bits with all the trim and everything in it, and promised him faithfully that, I wouldn't turn it into a competition car. So I promptly turned it into a competition car. Tom Lawler supplied a lot of bits for it. And his mechanic was a boy called Neil Fraser at the time, I'd been friendly with, and Richard Murdoch out of Cairnacumber, who had been well known in racing circles at the time, with Johnny Keane and a few others, McAlpin there out of Portrush or whatever we call it. So the three of us got together and built this 2-litre competition car over the period of a few months, and that was the first pure competition car that I put together, and that's where the name Rick Neal Racing sort of transpired out of. There was Richard Murdoch, Neil Fraser, and my full name's Richard Neal, so between the Ricks and the Neils, we just called it Rick Neal. It was easier to call the team that. I took a wee bit of a licence from the likes of Rick Wood, who'd been known for Capris and V8s in England. I put a hyphen in it, like Newman Haas. Oh, with Delusions of Grandeur, like Rick Neal Racing, then just ended up on the map, and it sort of stayed with me. The other boys have gone their ways and doing different things, but I've sort of kept the name going ever since, and trade under it and what have you. But that's how it all starts, just a bit of fun and a bit of banter, and it got us up and running after 2 or 3 seasons there with the Escort before the Peugeot came along.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, tell me this: what would be your favourite event and why?
Oh, David, that's a real awkward one. I spent a bit of time thinking about this one. You thankfully give me the questions or two of them up front there, and this one caused me the biggest dilemmas.
You haven't seen the other two? You haven't seen yet? Well,
I thought long and hard, but I enjoyed the rallying. But rallying, you sort of got to finish to get a result out of it, and the racing's the same. You have to finish, and maybe through no fault of your own. So sprints, hills, as long as you can get over the finish line, the time counts, and it doesn't matter whether you bin it afterwards. It's getting to the finish line. I don't mind as long as the time stands, what condition the car's in to the end of it, and a winning time. But for sprints, I know you're the sprint coordinator and involved in it, but for sprints, it has to be Bishop's Court. The back there with those sweeping fast bends, hanging on for dear life. It's a thrill as a sprint circuit. But as you really know, that my passion, believe it or not, is hill climbing.
Yeah.
I enjoy that thrill where you're inches from walls and telegraph poles and houses and trees and dubious surface and all the rest of it. So I had to think about the hill climbs. And to be fair, I put a wee list together of a top 5 for you.
Okay, fair enough.
So in 5th place, and no harm to Bill Cater, is Dugan in Stirling in Scotland.
Right.
Dugan's a fantastic hill. You're driving up through Oak Tree there, a car and a half width, Armco on one side, railway sleepers on the other. You're just threading the eye of a needle all the way up through it. There's no margin for error. I remember Graham White telling me that if you touch the barriers or you touch the sleepers, don't steer out of it. There's enough give in them to just push you back onto the circuit and keep you straight. He told me that he tried it once in a pill beam, and he corrected the first mistake, and he corrected the second mistake, and he tried to correct the third mistake, and by the time he came to a stop, he was in a bathtub with no wheels on it. So he says, definitely don't steer out of them. And doing, so you come out of a gateway there and across the meadow, and you arrive at the bottom of East Bray, and East Bray goes straight up. I don't think there's a hill anywhere that you use that is as steep as East Bray. Difficult to walk up or down. And as soon as you arrive at the top of East Bray, you have a 90 right in through the trees and down to the finish line. It's a phenomenal experience. Everybody should go to Dugan just to experience. It's a mighty hill. 4th place, and a lot of people will be shocked about it, I have Cairn Castle. Cairn Castle is, and I know the 2 other boys before me have raved about Cairn Castle, and I do enjoy it. It's a fantastic hill. Larne Motor Club do a brilliant job organising it. They're very competitor orientated. They really consider what drivers have to do and how to drive the cars, and if the weather's a wee bit difficult, to hold it back, or they run it early, or they run it quick. They work with the driver an awful lot, and they're fantastic in that respect. I have an awful lot of admiration for Larne Motor Club. The hill itself is very technical the first half, up as far as Cottage Corner, and then after that it's flat out. It's get it into top gear, hang on for dear life, and steer for the finish. The last corner, adverse camber, round by the car park over the finish line. Oh look, it's an accident waiting to happen, and I had a few have gone off there. It's a big effort. Cairn Castle, really enjoyable hill, mighty. And then we come to 2nd and 3rd. I really couldn't split 2nd and 3rd in my list, and they're 2 French hills, Le Pommeraye and Saint Gueno. Right. The race surfaces in Europe, Carcassonne's bumpy in comparison to the race circuits in France especially.
Right.
They're ultra smooth. La Pommeraye, very fast, sweeping bends through the Armco, and you're just rushing it, trying to go through some of the S's. Big crowd of spectators, big power needed on the hill, great thrill.
Well,
I know, 2nd. Sorry, go ahead, David.
Excuse the ignorance here, because I've never been it either. But Saint Gueno and La Pommeraye, are they public roads or are they circuits?
Public roads.
Public roads.
Both of them are public roads, yeah. They put Armco on them over the weekend, or coming up to that weekend, but they're used day and daily. You're coming across crossroads, you're coming out of side roads, they make a circuit that'd be same as Craig Antlet or anywhere else. They have that circuit made up on the road. Fantastic. Saint Gueno edges it slightly in that there's probably 200 drivers at Saint Gueno. Yeah. 120 French European drivers, 80 British Irish. I mean, John Lloyd, Tony Hudson and the team do a fantastic effort to keep the British Irish drivers in check and to get them out on the circuit and to get them competing there. Yeah. But it's a whole carnival atmosphere. 10,000 spectators, again, very fast hill, 2 odd miles. It's 3.5 kilometres, something like that. Very fast, technical, flowing, smooth surfaces again, but it's another public road. Brilliant. Love it. And that's one of the reasons you keep wanting to go back every year. But the number one hill in my book has to be Ballyalbin, Galway Motor Club, Aidan Conley. That team put together again a great hill, very competitor sort of ideals. You know what you want. But Ballyalbin from the start line, big straight, first, second, third, fourth gear before the first corner. Fast corners, bumpy corners, you're in the middle of the burren, stone walls, rock strewn fields. Look, you're not going to scratch the car there, you're going to destroy it. Okay. Down through the middle section, top gear, unseen bends that just flow, a real thrill, real roller coaster ride. Get to the finish, you know, when you cross the line, you think that's fabulous, you know. The heart's pounding, you can hear it in your ears, and the veins are sitting out in your neck, and all you can do is get the car up to where you can get it stopped and pull in and get out. It's just the biggest thrill you can get, in my book, is Ballyalbin. Dangerous, yeah, it is. Like, there's no margin for error, and you're driving at top gear. But that's where it comes. It's the biggest thrill. That's how I pick that.
Well, you mentioned St. Gweno there, and I think I was going to ask you later on, but it fits in quite aptly here now. Tell us a story, Neil, of the 3-cylinder Pinto.
Yeah, well,
you weren't expecting that one.
No, well, the end of the season before at Eagles Rock, the Cosworth engine dropped a valve up near the top of Eagles Rock after you went over the bridge, destroyed the engine. Really, the only thing salvageable of any extent was the crankshaft. Right. So there was nothing left really. Didn't know what I was going to do. I certainly didn't have the money to build the Cosworth. I was sort of in for doing Gweno when things weren't happening. I thought the head might have been able to be repaired, and it couldn't be repaired. And we sort of were going down the road. Had been offered a couple of cars, so had enough bits lying about with the help of Trevor Lancashire and that. We found enough bits to build a Pinto out of second-hand pistons and rods and the head. Lastminute.com, we put the thing together, and it was marginal on the clearances. They recommend your valve to piston clearance at 70 thou. When we built the thing up with 60 thou clearance, so 10 thou, you know what thickness 10 thou is. But we took the thing up to Rolling Road, and Aidan Corey did his usual magic, and we got the thing running really well. That was a couple of 100 horsepower, really going well, Pinto. So that was only weeks before days maybe before we're packing up to go to Gweno. Put the whole lot in and
cutting it fine?
So it was very fine. There was no test, no nothing. We tested up the road at Corey's. The thing was flying. Cars were really well. Went to St. Gweno and first run up the hill, up near the top, dropped the valve. Knew rightly what had happened because it happened the last out at Eagles Rock months beforehand. So I was a wee bit dejected when I got into the paddock.
I would say so.
And I opened a bottle of wine. I was sitting there, just about to taste the wine, and thinking of, this was how the weekend was going to pan out. And Robert, my gypsy, moseyed over, and he says, "Well, how did you go?" He said, "You're a funny boy." I said, "You not know the car quit?" "Oh," he says, "I'm sorry, I didn't realise." So the two of us started bantering away and yarning. Between the two of us, we came with this plan. He says, are you sure the valve's gone?" I says, "I can see the top of it sitting on the piston." I said, "When you look in through the plug hole, and it's not connected to the stem, so..." What do you think? So we concocted this plan between the two of us. We'd strip the head off and blank off the damaged cylinder and the ports and put it out as a 3-cylinder. Well, most of the modern engines, the Vauxhalls and Skodas, everything runs a 3-cylinder engine now, but couldn't see why it wouldn't work. So the two of us took in at lunchtime, stripped it and used a hammer and bait valves up into it and made blanking plates and all. And within an hour with the engine up and running again and ready for the next run. So I qualified to run again on a Sunday, but you have to do it, Guano. And we're still not the slowest car out there, and we're beating a couple of cars in the class, still, with the 3-cylinder. And it's only when it finally cried enough and went on to 2-cylinders that I decided the last run just wasn't going to happen. But apart from that, it worked. We didn't miss it. I don't like to give up much.
Definitely not.
Never.
Not. And I bet the wine tasted even sweeter after that day's work.
Oh, it did, yeah. And Robert enjoyed a glass. Monsieur Chapeau, good guy. We two of us worked hard for an hour.
Oh, well, the hard work paid off. Oh dear, well, talking about your car and working at cars and stuff, have you done any work at your motor during lockdown? And if so, what have you done?
Just adjusting the light, I think it was a bit bright. Was there any improvement, David? No.
I haven't noticed a difference, but Joanne was on saying you were bright.
Is it a bit better there now? Is it, David? Or?
I can't see what you're looking like on Facebook.
Changed.
You seem a wee bit better to me now.
Right, well, so I was trying to say, it was just somebody was saying there that it's looking bright on Facebook, so we'll try it anyway. Technology. My car, no, I did a lot of work to it over the winter. I got the new Cosworth built up and running, gearbox rebuilt, a bit of paint work done, and it was only on the rolling road at Aidan Corey's 777 the Friday before we did the Kirkstone Sprint.
Yeah.
So it was basically untested. Seemed to be running well. We went down to Kirkstone, as you know, and had a great couple of days. A couple of wee teething problems, especially where core plug let go on the back straight crossing the finishing line.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, well, funny enough, the shaft of a wooden ball peen hammer is about the same diameter as a core plug in a 205 block. So I managed to cut an inch off the shaft of the brush and hammered into the Fenton hole. And it worked well for the rest of the weekend. It didn't leak. So we kept going. A couple of class wins. Took the car home, sorted out those wee teething issues, had it ready to go for the next event whenever, and put it to the side. I've had another project here for a year or two, 1970 HP Viva, that had stripped and wasn't making a lot of progress at it. So really I'm getting on with it now. The shell's up and done, cage in it. We're getting on well with it, arched. Bit of build still to do, but sure, by the time of the next event, it could be ready to go maybe. We'll see.
I was going to ask you, is it a competition car or a road car? But I imagine when you've put a cage in it, you're not going to use it to go to work.
No, no, probably not. You can buy something cheap to go to work in, keep the good stuff.
I love your thinking. I love your thinking. Well, Neil, looking back over your career, what would be your most memorable moment in motorsport?
Oh, here, David. I have some of those. 2019 European shite shirt champion. That would come up there, you know.
I remember hearing that.
Yeah, that's probably the highlight so far. Winning the Sprint Saloon Championship 2002, beating Rudy Gage would come close. All the years coming second to Rudy Gage in the Saloon Championships, always the bridesmaid. Like I just never seemed to do enough to beat him, and then Jared came along, you know, with another nice bit of machinery. I think the best moment I ever had was in the Jim Clark Rally with the Mini Coopers. I was competing against this old Scottish boy by the name of Jimmy McRae, who was driving a Mini.
Don't think
well, no, it wasn't that well known over here in Ireland. And so I beat Jimmy McRae on 2 stages in Scotland. And we were talking after the rally, running together, you see it. He says, well, what did you think of the round? How did you get on? And what was your memory? I says, my biggest memory, I says, was beating you in 2 stages in your own country. I says, after you coming to Ireland for years and beating the local drivers, and every opportunity I get from now on, I'm going to tell everybody how I beat Jimmy McRae in 2 stages in Scotland in the same car. So I've kept my promise, and I've seen him now and again since then, and we chat about minis and we chat about different things there, but I always remind him about that. Beating Jimmy McRae, that's about my only claim to fame.
You're right, it is. A nice one to have. Well, tell me this, who would be your motorsport idol?
Oh, here, funny, I heard JD saying it yesterday too. I don't have an idol, really, in motorsport. There's an awful lot of drivers I respect and have time for, who've helped me on my way and encouraged me. I mean, you only think of Hoger McWilliams there, like, the only person I ever want to beat sometimes is him. I don't care about anybody else. We've been mates for 30 years and we're that competitive, but overall, I'd have to say that the one guy of real admiration for is Simon McKinley.
Yeah.
The amount of knowledge and publicity he brought to the sport of hill climbing, the guy's car control, commitment. I'm putting that up on YouTube with the help of Senan and Vantage Point video to showcase Irish hill climbing and the abilities of a Mark II Escort, and also the work he did behind the scenes with Motorsport Ireland, pushing hill climbing to the fore. I take my hat off to that guy. It really didn't register with me how much throughout the world he was held in high esteem until Ari Vatnan was talking to Peter McKinley and myself at Ireland Park, and Ari admitted that he watched Simon McKinley videos and stated that Ari Vatnan watched Simon McKinley videos and stated that's the proper way to drive a Mark II Escort.
Well, that is some serious compliment.
That, to me, yeah, take hat off the guy. That's, yeah, that'd be my thoughts on who I would think of as inspirational, more than an idol, an inspiration in motorsport.
Well, see if you could drive any car, anywhere, what would you want to drive and where?
Well, there's going to be a boy panicking about this one here. The White Escort, Peter McKinley. and anywhere he lets me drive it. Look, I just like to experience it. The Peugeot and the Escort have been similarly matched. They run similar power outputs. Simon had it, it's still the dog box, the same as I have in it. We run the same final drive. The cars are fairly comparative. I would just love to, I'd love to experience it. So Peter, if you're out there, you know my number.
Maybe we'll get someday and you can go on each other's. That might be good to watch.
Brilliant, yeah. In fact, when I was rebuilding the Cosworth engine there and gathering up bits, a set of pistons and rods out of Simon's car. So that's what's keeping me going a minute too. It's part of that same package. Yeah. So I try the rest of it now.
Well, here, if you could get a run with somebody, who would you most like a passenger run beside?
Look, not a chance I sit beside anybody in a competition car. I won't sit in a competition car. I won't ride pillion in a motorcycle. And I won't ride shotgun in a Dodge. It's just not going to happen. Although I did get an offer a few years ago to ride pillion with Niall Mackenzie on a Ducati at Knockhill.
Okay.
And I wasn't going to do it, not a chance. And when I was watching another boy out and heard the bike going, I thought, geez, Neil, have you made the right decision here at all? Like, it's a one-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You'll never get this. But you see, when I seen him exiting the hairpin and pop it up onto the back wheel, the whole way up the start-finish straight until he came to Duff at the dip before he dropped it down again. I don't know, 100, 150 mile an hour. I says, you made the right decision, boy. Don't you be getting on the back of all that things. I can't even ride one myself, hardly, never mind hold on to one. But, yeah, so I'm not going to do that. Although I wouldn't mind double driving a Crossley 47S, maybe on an endurance race or a European event, you know, something like that there. So if Paul McMorran's watching, rickneilrace.yahoo.com, yeah, get in touch if you need a pilot.
Well, why not? Something different to try.
Well, I try everything. Yeah, yeah, but some good. Some good experiences.
Oh, definitely, definitely. As I say earlier on, no matter who you say you're speaking to Neil Dugan. He asked about Neil Dugan. Everybody has a great story about Neil doing this or Neil doing that. Or did you hear this one? So brilliant. Tell me this, Neil. Isn't it interesting one now? Who would you like to be interviewed for this next?
Yeah, you're going to get round to a couple in there that have probably already been mentioned, and they're probably there at the top of your list. There's two people I would like to see interviewed. One's Irish, or Northern Irish, and one's Scottish, but they're both very similar characters.
Right.
Both fantastic drivers.
Okay.
Both fantastic engineers with engineering minds. And both have been building their own cars and competing in them. One's Kenny Colbert, and the other's Graham White Jr.
Right, I'm writing both of these down. I could tell you a funny story about Graham White Jr. here in a wee minute. But yes, I know what you mean about Kenny. I have a list of people that I would like to speak to as well. And Kenny, if you're watching, when you see my number popping up, I'm sure you can imagine what's coming. There's a wee hint for you. There's a few people like Kenny I'd like to speak to. Graham Wright Jr., I'll never forget it. The year he came to Craig Antlet in the single-seater, I think he won it. I was the marshal at the top on the turnaround. And I come up over the top of the line. I could hear him shouting before he came over this top. And, he wasn't happy. I said, what's wrong? He says, met a fella walking down the circuit, he says, and I had to lift. He says, ruined my run, I want another run. And everybody comes running up to him, clapping, shouting, well done. He says, what's this for? He says, you've just won the event, taking some huge margin out of whoever was leading it. And he was complaining that he'd had the lift because he'd met somebody. And the look on his face was priceless. But he still wanted another run.
He's a great engineer, but he can't stick a crystal trophy back together when it bounces.
Oh dear, don't be going any further with that now.
Yeah, it doesn't look as good when it's sitting in the dustpan as it did when he was being handed it. But yeah, that's Whitey Jr.
These things happen though, don't they?
Yeah.
These things happen. Well, Neil, I think I could sit here and yarn away to you all night, but it's not particularly fair on you and everybody else that's sitting watching. So I just want to thank you for agreeing to participate in this tonight. I really enjoyed myself, a real bit of crack. You're getting a bit of stick here too. It's been brilliant.
A broad shoulders, it'll wear with me, all right.
For everybody that's watching, I have taken your previous feedback on board, Jared and John especially, and Thursday night, 8:30, tune in, and our next guest will be Davy Francis. So I'm looking forward to that one, as I'm sure everybody else is. Davy, if you're there, hello. I have to think of some good questions for you too. I've tried for everybody. I've tried differently. I've bought a different microphone here, which hopefully improves the sound a bit for you all. Apologies on the lighting. Joanna's dropped me a note in to say that the brightness isn't quite right. As I said at the start, I'm learning. I'm working off an iPad on a phone, and I've never done anything like this before. So we'll work about trying to work for the brightness for the next one. All I can do is apologise for that. I complete technophobe, as you all know, but we're working there. So Neil, thank you very much again for agreeing to participate. You're a great sport. I really enjoyed myself. I reckon a bit of banter, we could be at this all night. Thanks to everybody that's tuned in and watched. And see you all on Thursday night. Hopefully soon we'll get back onto the circuit and we'll be able to do proper Pitlane walks. Although I must admit I'm enjoying talking to everybody like this. So Neil, thank you very much. Good evening. Thank you very much to everybody else. Hope you've enjoyed this. And I'll see you all on Thursday night. So thank you very much. Neil, I'm just going to switch this off.
That's alright.
Bear with me, I'll figure out how to work it.